Hello, First Baptist friends. Welcome to another installment of our midweek message. We're so glad that you tuned in. This has become such an important part of our community connection. We want to stay connected to you, and so we're so glad that you continue to check in with us. Today, I want to bring to your attention something that's coming up on August 2nd. It's called National Night Out. And it is a national campaign where neighborhoods are encouraged to get together, to visit with each other, have a little bit of a potluck and a community feel. Some neighborhoods will choose to actually set up a neighborhood watch and invite the policemen or maybe even the fire department down to kind of give them a presentation. Some of you may already have your street blocked off and you've got this little community night that you're planning on attending. But if you aren't, I want to encourage you to knock on some doors. You might not be able to officially get a permit to block your road off, but that doesn't matter. On the 2nd of August, it's a Tuesday night, I want to encourage you to consider knocking on some doors and inviting your neighbors to come to your driveway, to set up some camping chairs, and just share some time together. It is such an important opportunity for you to get to know those that live around you. And the reason why we wanted to bring this to your attention is because it fits perfectly within one of our strategic priorities, which is to be a church that is neighbor loving. We've already got a system that's basically all the work's been done for us. People are expecting this neighborhood night out. And for us to kind of jump on board is just a great way for us to tangibly express our commitment to want to get to know those that we live next to. Being neighborly is so important, and the term be a good neighbor is both broad and specific. 8 different times, Jesus encourages his followers to love their neighbor as themselves. Jesus masterfully wrapped up the entire message of both the law and the prophets by giving these 2 commands. One is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then Jesus goes on to say, and the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. So the question for us to wrestle with, both as a church and individually, is what does it mean to be a good neighbor? Yes, we need to be neighborly to our community. That's why we do Serve Salem. Serve Salem is on August 20th. That's an opportunity for us to apply being neighborly in a broad sense, to reach out to various organizations within our community and to love them in tangible ways by scraping gum off of desks or spreading bark dust. But there's also a very specific application of being a good neighbor to the person that lives right next to you. And I think that's an instinctive thing. We all know what it looks like and what it feels like to have a good neighbor. In fact, we've got a major insurance company that has based their entire marketing campaign on this concept. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. State Farm knows that all of us kind of have a general idea, a general understanding of the difference between a good neighbor and a bad neighbor. I've heard many times friends comment, oh man, our neighbors are moving and it's such a bummer, we loved them. And it's always followed up with that caveat, I hope the new people are cool, I hope I like our new neighbors. We all kind of understand what it looks like and feels like to have a good neighbor. If we love our neighbor as ourselves, don't you kind of also see another principle that Jesus gave us, which is the golden rule? Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want to have good neighbors, I would suggest maybe we start by being a good neighbor. What is a good neighbor? It's someone who's attentive. It's someone who is considerate. It's someone who is compassionate. It's someone who is actively engaged. And that's going to look different for each one of us, right? In Seinfeld, Kramer was engaged in Seinfeld's life, right? And he would just barge into the room at inopportune times and just say hello and share his information. That might be a little too assertive, maybe too aggressive. I think of other neighbors in TV sitcoms like Mr. Wilson, who used to kind of peek over the fence to talk to Tim Taylor and give his little pieces of sage wisdom and advice. The more I think about it, I think of Barney and Betty Rubble and the Flintstones. There are so many different kinds of neighbors we see in these sitcoms. Why is that? Because we all instinctively know how nice it is to have someone that lives next to us, that cares about us, and that is friendly and kind and attentive. So I want to encourage you to consider, are you a good neighbor? Do you know your neighbor's names? Do you know your neighbor's needs? Are you the kind of neighbor you want to have? August 2nd, National Night Out. If you got a flyer stuck on your door, maybe it's on your mailbox, and you're thinking, I'm really not into that kind of stuff, I'd rather just stay home, I'd like to encourage you to go out of your comfort zone a little bit and connect with your neighbors. I'd also like to encourage you, if you haven't already signed up for Serve Salem, jump online, look at some of our options, and get plugged in, get connected. Because James actually calls loving your neighbor the royal law. The scripture elevates neighborliness. So I want our church, I want each one of us to really explore what it looks like to be a good neighbor. So that's our message, that's our encouragement for this week. We also want to make sure that all of you know that our yearly church picnic is coming up. August 14th, we're going to have one service. We're going to meet out in the parking lot again. The service will be at 10 o'clock, and then after we're done, we'll go across the street and we will enjoy fellowship. We will have inflatables, we'll have great food, and we'll have wonderful fellowship because that matters. It's important as a church for us to spend time with each other. So mark that down in your calendars, August 14th. And we also want to let you know, because we care about community, we have a new community group starting up on August 21st. It'll meet during the second hour. The name of the group is Koinonia, which means fellowship. So we are constantly committed to fellowship and relationship with our neighbors and with one another. So mark those dates down. I know I gave you a bunch of them. August 2nd is National Night Out. August 20th is Serve Salem. The 14th is our church picnic. And if you are looking for a community group to connect to during the second hour, be on the lookout for Koinonia. So thanks for joining us today. I hope this was an encouragement to you to either continue being a good neighbor or maybe to start exploring ways that you can grow in that area. So I hope that you have a fantastic day. I hope that you have air conditioning or maybe a sprinkler outside that you can cool off in. We love you, and we'll see you on Sunday as we continue in 1 John.